Guys, today I'm doing strawberry preserves. First thing I did was wash all my berries and take the tops off. Next thing I'm going to do is cut them in half. And I only cut them in half. I don't go any smaller than this because they do tend to get a little bit soft in the canner and so forth, so I like it just in halves. And I'm going to keep doing this until I get 5 cups of strawberries, and then I'll come back. All the strawberries have been halved. So I'm going to put the sugar in now. This is a lot of sugar. It's 6 cups and a quarter sugar. But I'm going to have this recipe in the show more box underneath, so you'll get it all there. And I'm going to mix that up as good as I can. If I can. There we go. Then I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of lemon zest and 2 tablespoons of water and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And I'm going to mix this all in. Now this takes a bit. You really want this to coat because this is going to sit. And you really don't want to squish the berries. That's why I find it's really important to get firm berries when you're doing anything with canning and berries. These are going to be beautiful. They always are. Alright, that looks good. Good. Okay, I'm going to put some saran wrap on it. And this is going to sit at room temperature for 3 hours. And then in 3 hours time, I'll come back. Okay, 3 hours is almost up, so I'm going to start getting my jars ready, my lids ready, and getting my workstation ready. So this is what you will need. You will need your lids and rings, vinegar, paper towel, a jar lifter, lid lifter, a ladle, and some sort of spatula, funnel, something to protect your hands with, something to protect the tables with. You'll need some stir sticks, and you will need your hot water for your lids and rings. Not boiling water, hot water. My lids have been sterilized and they're sitting in the water bath canner, just getting hot, keeping them warm. I use the rack from my pressure canner instead of the rack that this comes with. I don't like the other rack. It's just cumbersome. It doesn't sit quite well, so I just use the other rack from my pressure canner. I've transferred the sugar and the strawberries into a very heavy bottom pot. I have it on high. I'm going to bring this up to a boil. Once it gets to a really hard boil, I'm going to time it for 2 minutes. So I'll come back when that happens. Now it's come up to a heavy boil, and I am going to time it for 2 minutes and keep stirring the whole time or it'll boil right over. You really don't want to walk away from this. The boil time's almost over, but I did want to mention that when you make this kind of jam, when you boil it this hard, it rises a lot. So make sure that your pan is high enough to double the depth of it when it's boiling. So when this is done, in about 7 seconds, I am going to put it aside. In a separate pot, I have 1 cup of water in there. And I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Oops. There we go. And 1 package of soda pectin. And the whole package goes in. And I'm going to whisk this until it gets to a boil. This doesn't take long. It's to a boil now. And we want that. We want a hard boil just like this. And then we are going to time it for 1 minute and stir it constantly. I'm going to try to get some of this skimmed from the top. Just a bit. I don't want all of that in there. I should have added butter actually. I usually do, and today I forgot. So that's why I have a little bit more to work with here. I skimmed most of it off. So now what I'm going to do is add my pectin mixture right into the strawberries. I'm going to set my timer and I'm just going to stir it for 3 minutes. Everything's ready to go, so I'm just going to take all my jars out of the canner and put them on my workstation. Okay, we're ready to fill. So I have my hot jars, my ladle, and my funnel. And I'm just going to spoon it in to 1/4 of an inch from the top. Yeah, about there. And I'll do 3, and then I won't bore you with the rest. Now jam is very, very hot if you get jam on you. It's very hot to handle for sure. You have to be careful with the children and the animals and husbands and giraffes under your feet. Make sure everybody's safe. And a little bit more. And I think we're good to go. I think this one could be a little bit more. With everything else, mostly it's an inch headspace. With jams and jellies, it's 1/4 of an inch. So I've got my vinegar set to go, and I'm going to debubble. And I know it's liquid, and you would think, why would you debubble? But it really should be done even with liquid. And my vinegar. Make sure it's really clean, really dry. Oh, that's hot. Yikes. If you get in the habit of using vinegar, you'll never go wrong because it works really well. Now I'm going to get my lid and my ring and finger. That one didn't go on right. I could feel it. And finger firm, and then a twist. Ike. Make sure you center it. And then first resistance and a little tug. Not too snug, not too loose. You'll get the hang of it the more you can. And another one. First resistance and a little tug. And that's it. I'm going to fill these up and I'm going to put these in the canner and then I'll come back. Canner's on high. I have at least, well actually a lot more than 1 inch over the jar, but that's okay. It's on high, so I'm going to put the lid on. And then I'm going to leave it and wait for it to get to a rapid boil. And then when it gets to a rapid boil, I'm going to time it for 10 minutes. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's at a very vigorous boil, so I timed it for 10 minutes. Timer's up, and I'm going to take the lid off for 5 minutes and let it cool down. Okay, they're done. I'm going to leave these on the counter for 24 hours. I'm not going to touch them. I'm not going to move them. Let them rest for 24 hours. Washing jars. I get asked a lot. Do you take the lids off, the rings off I should say? Do you wash it with vinegar? Do you just wipe it down? This is how I do it. I take the rings off, I put soap on it, I put it underneath the water, make sure everything's off, and that's it. That's all I do. And then all you have to do is dry it. All I'm going to do is label these. I either put a label on the side or put them on with the band, or I write the top and make sure that the date is on there because that's really super important. But these turned out lovely. This is just absolute sunshine to me. If this wasn't food and had to be in a cold, dark place, I would put this on a kitchen windowsill and let the sun shine through it. It is absolutely beautiful to me, and it tastes fantastic. You won't go wrong with this preserve. It's a winner every time. Till next time. Hey, dough.